It's my pleasure to welcome your 2021 U.S. Senior Open champion, Jim Furyk. Jim, what's going through your mind right now?
Still can't believe I'm a senior, but just excited. This year I haven't played poorly at all this year. I mean, I've played solid, but I haven't contended for enough tournaments. I haven't put myself in the positions to win like I'd like to, and when I haven't finished them off either. So, I've worked really hard on my game this year. I still feel like I've got some stuff I need to work on, but to see, I guess, the fruits of that labor is very satisfying. To come out in a big tournament, a major championship on our Champions Tour, and a great field, and then on a very difficult golf course. So to get off to a rough start today and just gut it out and grind it out, and it was 3 over through 3, but only finished 1 over for the day. So to really play the last 15 holes that well under the conditions was real exciting and gratifying.
Mm-hmm. Stu?
Jim, no 3-putts this week on these greens. Is that a huge key to your win?
I didn't know that. It definitely helped, and it was a big deal today because it allowed me. I just had a real good feel for the speed of the greens, and I did starting on early in the week. I kind of came out Monday, Tuesday, and felt like my lag putts and my speed it came very natural this week, and felt very comfortable with the speed of the greens. And today that kind of allowed me to, on the back nine, knowing I had a good sizable lead and knowing it was going to be hard for those guys to chase me down, that I was going to have to at least come back and meet them halfway. Allowed me to take, conservative lines on 10, 11, 12, 14, 17. I could take conservative lines, and I felt very comfortable that I could get the first putt up there pretty close. I left myself a little work on 9. I left myself a little work on 17. I hit that one solid, but when I left the putter, I knew it was a little firm. But for most of the day, it was pretty stress-free. A lot of tap-ins, a lot of easy cleanups, and so yes, it definitely had a big help, and I guess I didn't realize I hadn't 3-putted.
Your family came in, I understand, overnight.
Yeah, that was the original plan, and then it kind of got altered this week. But it was nice. Tabitha kind of surprised me with the kids. She told me last night she was going to fly in. We were supposed to meet in Baltimore tonight. I've got some work there with Constellation to do tomorrow, and she said, well, it's just as easy for me to get there, watch the tournament, and I'll fly over with you late this evening. So, but she did surprise me with the kids, which was pretty cool. And my agent surprised me today. Andrew came in as well.
Is there any other significance to this win? Any personal satisfaction or meaning?
Well, it's a big event. I mean, I've got a history with the USGA, and U.S. Open was the major that I played my best in. As far as if you look at the 4 majors, that's the one I had the most success in. It's the only one that I won, and it's still I guess it's an over 50 national open, but still our national open, and it's always a tough test. It's always a difficult course. We're used to kind of Champions Tour is kind of 3 days and you pin your ears back and go and try to make a bunch of birdies. And this is a totally different style of golf. This golf course is very difficult, and the setup. You got to imagine even with all that rain and as soft as the greens were and as receptive as they were, the golf course still is very difficult, and even par is still a great score. So, I think beating a good field on a really tough golf course is that's a feather in your cap.
Jim, what's going through your mind walking to the 4th tee after what happened on 2 and 3?
A little mad at myself, a little disappointed. I accepted what happened at 3. I just hit a bad drive and wasn't able to scramble and get out of it. On 3, I made a mental error off the tee, and I tried to hit the wrong shot. And with that, I should have made 4. I mean, that ball ended up in a very difficult spot, and I think I made a mental error. I should have had the face a lot more closed to try to dig it out. I think I got a little greedy and tried to throw it across the green a little farther and maybe give myself a 10 or 15 footer for par. And with that, it came out low and hit the lip. And I guess I was just a little mad at myself for turning a 4 into a 5, which when you've got a big lead or got a lead going into Sunday, that's what you're trying to avoid. So I was really just trying to collect myself, and I thought the tee shot at 4 and the iron shot at 4 were very key. I hit 2 very good shots and gave myself a good look at birdie.
Is that a deal where experience, your experience kind of helps you, when you hit a bump in the road like that to be able to recover?
I think so. I've been there before. I've done it before. Sometimes you don't react as positively as I did. I guess the one thing I really had going for me, I really felt good about my game. I felt like coming in, I was really disappointed with kind of the 72 on Thursday. I mumbled to myself a few times, like I really thought I was ready this week. Like I really felt good about my game, and I had a lot of confidence in my golf swing this week. I had a lot of confidence in my putter, and I've putted beautifully all week. Short game was good. So, I made a mistake, but the good news was it wasn't like I was reeling at the time and hitting some bad shots. I still felt pretty confident about my game, and just, you gotta shake it off and know that you got to go out there and play hard.
Did you do any scoreboard watching? Did you feel Weir and Goosen kind of coming up on you?
There's not a ton of scoreboards out there to start with. Some of them got knocked over and then also replaced, like the one on 14 green got put back up today. I really didn't until about, once I finished 12. You got to get through that stretch, like 10, 11, I'll say 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is a really difficult stretch of golf holes. And once I got through 10, 11, 12 and actually hitting all the fairways, all the greens, and hit a lot of really good shots, then I was kind of like, all right, I'd love to see a board just to get an idea where I'm at. But I don't think I saw one until 14 at that point. And I heard someone talking about Goose when I was on 14. Someone knocked a putt in on 15, and I heard some of the fans say he knocked it in, but I had no idea if he knocked in a birdie putt, a par putt. In fact, I didn't even know if it was Retief or is it Steve. So I was a little anxious to see, then I don't know. Did he birdie 16?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
So at that time I'm thinking, well, I could be 1 up or 3 up. I really don't know. I was probably 2, and then I made birdie to go back up 3.
Last question I have is, did you feel like you maybe had locked it up when you threw that dart in on number 16 to within about 3-4 feet? I think you're 109 yards out.
It was, yeah. Did I lock it up? I felt real good about it. I'll say that. But I know the game well enough that if you get ahead of yourself or start thinking ahead and just don't go through your process, that bad things can happen. So I really tried to not get ahead of myself. But that was probably, looking back after making bogey at 15, that was probably the clincher.
You and Fluff have had such a long relationship. What did he mean this week?
Yeah, it was good to. It was good to have that nice long walk with him up 18. At that point, it's kind of stress free, and I can't. I've only stood on the last green and had like 4 putts or whatever it was to win. Maybe once in my career, and that was at the U.S. Open in 03. Every other time, it's always been a tight battle, and 18's always been super nerve-wracking. So it's nice to take that walk, and he's been on the bag now for over 22 years. So it's great to share it with him, and great to have him be a part of it.
Are there similar?
And you got to think, the guy's 73, walking these hills. He's a beast.
When you walked up and you said you had that same kind of a lead, are the emotions similar walking up this fairway as opposed to 03?
Similar, but I was 33 at the time, still like getting won maybe 6-7 times on tour. I was still kind of in the middle of my career. I hadn't won a major. I put so much pressure on myself to win that tournament that when I got to 18, it was more like the air was let out of the balloon. I was spent. I'm a little older and a little wiser now, and these are like this part of your career is more. We're kind of taking a victory lap and enjoying it, and I still get really stressed and I still put a lot of pressure on myself, but it's not like being 33 again. But the feeling of winning never goes away. It's a great feeling to walk up there and I didn't get that emotional until I saw Tab and the kids to the right of the green, and I hit that first putt. It almost went in from 60 feet or whatever, and I had to tap in, and I kind of looked across, and she was on the other side of the hole, so I kind of motioned to her, and that's when I got emotional.
Yesterday we talked about the list that you joined, but when you read the names, Casper and Trevino and Nicholas and Palmer, what does that mean to you? Because you probably not only watched them on TV growing up, but probably played with a few of them.
I've had the opportunity to play with, other than Mr. Casper, I haven't played with, but I've met Mr. Casper. I had and played an event. He took us to Morocco. It's just it's an incredible list. I didn't really want to look to see who was on it last night, but when I finished in the scoring tent, I saw it was on TV. They listed the 7 folks before, and I'm very honored and humbled to have my name in the same breath. To be honest with you, that's some damn good players.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jim.
Congratulations.
Thank you.